I remember when I was in the New Age, there was a woman in there that was a tarot card reader that was, I had become friends with. She had um, been what I thought was a mentor, but their abilities came from reading cards. And, they really kind of came at me as a group. We were supposed to all be friends, but I could absolutely feel the, almost like I was on the outskirts, like the odd man. That's kind of how I've felt my whole life, just kind of being the odd man out, the one that never fit in with anybody doing anything. And I remember she told me once, in a really snotty way, like, why do you tell people so much about your life? You don't need to do that. And here's why I do it. I do it because I don't want you to feel alone, because I know that there's people out there that are going through what I've gone through and what I'm still going through. That's why I share my life. That's why I share so much about my life. I tried to share a video earlier and it got flagged again. So I am going to tell you the story of the mimic, and what happened. I've shared this one other time, but I'm going to share it again. I said in my last video about how just in the small town I live in, I don't know why it is, but these demonic entities, they will make themselves known to me. They made themselves known to my brother. I can feel them in people. I can see them behind people's eyes. I know when there's a demon present. This was several years back, probably, gosh, I would say 10 years ago. Maybe longer. I came down. I lived in a different state. I came down to visit, and my brother was my best friend. We were always together. So I stayed at his house, and that night, he showed me around the house. It wasn't even that big of a house. It was old, set right next to train tracks, and the kids were there. He has 3 kids, and at the time, the 2 littlest were about 4 and 2 years old. Their room was in the back, so like you would go into the kitchen. When you first came in the door, you were in the living room. So if you went off to the right, 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. If you went to the left, you're going to go into the kitchen, and then to the right in the kitchen, you're going to go into a laundry room. And then to the left is another door, which would be the back bedroom, and then this long breezeway. Well, the kids' bedroom was the one that was, past the laundry room. And the laundry room door, it squeaked really loud. I mean, I remember that night, my brother showed me, and he opened that door. He was like, yeah, this is really, really squeaking. I was like, you need to get some WD-40. Like, this is so bad. Just like, when you open it, super loud. The kids told me they didn't sleep back there, and I asked them why, and my brother's son said, there's ghosts back here. And I said, oh, well, what do they look like? And he said, they're too far away. So I thought, all right, like, he feels them. He's not necessarily seeing them, but he knows they're here. So I said, well, I'll sleep back here tonight. So I did, without a hitch. I slept there all night long. It was morning time, which is even creepier. I woke up. I was laying on my side, looking at the window, when I felt something behind me. And so I kind of looked over my shoulder, and standing in the doorway by my feet was my brother. And he had on his typical Brandon outfit. It was jeans, blue jeans, and a 49ers shirt and hat. That's just typical what he would wear. I mean, he had so many of those shirts, and jerseys. And so, anyways, he was standing there. he kind of hunched over a little bit, and he was rubbing his hands together, and he had this weird look on his face. If you've ever seen The Shining, when Jack Nicholson is chasing his wife, Shelley Duvall, into the bathroom, and she shuts herself in there, and he's got an axe in his hand, and he's literally like chopping at the door. Well, and then he peeks through and he goes, "Here's Johnny." That is the exact look he had on his face. And he was slightly hunched over. He was rubbing his hands together, like this. And he goes, "Let's go do some pills." And then he turned around and walked out. I sat there for a second, and then I jumped up to follow him because, number one, we didn't have pills. Number two, it was really weird. The whole thing was weird. Number three, he had to go to work, and he would not have been in that outfit at all. He'd have been in his work attire. He worked at a tire shed. He would have had on that, grimy jeans and one of their shirts. He didn't. So I walk in the kitchen. I look up at the clock. It's 6 a.m. I walked into his bedroom. He was laying on his stomach asleep, snoring. And the kids were on either side of him. They were all asleep. There was nobody awake. I didn't feel any fear. As it was happening, I thought it was him. I mean, solid. Like you and I, solid. Not see-through, solid. Looked just like him. The only thing that gave it away was the look on his face. It wasn't a look I'd ever seen before on his face. It was creepy. It was otherworldly. It didn't look right. And it took me, I think I waited a month before I even told him what had happened. He was already having nightmares in that house. He was sleeping with a Bible under his pillow and dreaming about hell, in flames, and it just demonic. I was still in the New Age at that time. I remember saging it. Now I know saging doesn't do anything but just draw him in closer. But then I got to thinking to myself, like, how often are we running into these things and thinking they're a person, and they're not. They're not. They're not a person at all. They're a demonic entity. They're not a person. That's one of 3 different stories that I have about demonic activity, and I will tell you about the other 2. One of them I'm going to have to wait to tell you. It's still ongoing. And I will. And when I do, I'm going to have some pretty clear evidence to show. But I want to make sure I'm free and clear before I do that. There's people that they're worshiping these false gods, like Odin, and they're demons. You guys, they're demons. Those are demons. If you look back, like, ancient Egypt, look at Anubis. That's a dog man. That's a freaking dog man. These creatures existed. They still exist. They're ancient. There's a lot I want to share with you, and I tried to share a video, and it wouldn't let me. I literally got another, flag. They won't let me share some of my visions on here. They won't let me, I don't know, YouTube will let me, I'm sure, but TikTok will not. I even put for entertainment purposes only, and they still, made it to private and said that was under review. So, after my dad and my brother passed away and my cousin, I hit the floor, and so much happened. Not only did they all die, but I was repeatedly attacked by my own family. I've been through so much, and I'm sharing not because I haven't forgiven, but because I know there's other people that are going through the same things that I am. And sometimes what'll happen is they will covertly do it to you, to where it's hard for other people to notice outside of what they're doing to you. But I'm going to be sharing signs that this is happening to you. It's called family mobbing. And the people that help them, they're called flying monkeys. They're literally called flying monkeys. Well, where they will engage with the abuser, the person that's inflicting the pain, and it's an ongoing thing, and it's demonic. It's demonic. They know your purpose. These demons, and some of you, like me, have been attacked since you were a child. And it never stops. It never stops. The very people that are good to everybody else are not to you. I remember one time, one of them gritting their teeth at me and telling me that I thought that God only spoke to me. Never one time did I ever say that or insinuate that. Ever. They like to group up to attack. And it's demonic entities behind it. And they think they're being covert about it. You know, they'll get with people in the community to slander your name. They want everybody to feel like they do about you. And then they'll be nice to your face. They'll be kind to you when you're around. But the things they say behind your back are despicable. It doesn't stop. And I know that it's hard. I know that some of you have gotten mixed up in the New Age because you weren't nourished at church. You've got these things going on with you. You know things. Nobody told you anything. You know. And then they like to try to, oh, you're crazy. And you're not crazy. You are the farthest thing from crazy. You are chosen. You are anointed. You are blessed by the Most High God. And sometimes I think the reason why I've gone through what I have to the degree that I have is because I'm supposed to help people. I'm supposed to be there for you, to help you not feel alone. Because in families where this family mobbing happens, you feel absolutely isolated. They get you into a corner where if you do not comply, nobody will speak to you. They will do whatever they can to make sure that if you do not comply with the way they're treating you and accept the abuse, don't dare defend yourself, because there are consequences for that as well. But you are not alone. You are not alone. You're the farthest thing from alone. And you have extra warrior angels that are fighting at your side. Because these demonic entities, they know your calling. They've known it since day one. Why do you think that they work overtime to try to separate you, to try to stomp you out? They want you gone. They want you gone. Because you will save souls. Because you are anointed. You have been anointed since the womb. And they want you caught up in the New Age, with these false friends. Believe me, the moment that you are not helpful, those false friends will be gone. Everybody that's kissing your butt right now because you're doing readings, the moment that you can't, they will be gone. Gone. Make no mistake. They're only there because of what you are giving them. And it's false. It isn't even the way it works. That is not how God talks. When God talks, it comes out very fluently. There's no guessing. It just rolls off your tongue. And because you're involved in the New Age, your abilities aren't even up to par yet. You don't even know what you're capable of, and you won't. until you shut that door, turn the other way, go back to God, and start doing His will and not your own, edifying Him and not yourself. People are going to say horrible things to you. They're going to do horrible things to you. They are going to make you feel this big. They want you to feel horrible about yourself. I remember telling the main culprit that does this to me, that's the ringleader of it. You know, I can't even count how many times I've had to say to this person that I matter. That I matter. You know, and just to have them look at me. They don't say that I matter back. Not one bit. They scream in my face. It's wicked. And that same person would appear godly to you and would be very kind to everybody else. It's demonic. It's an open door. And those of you participating in that, woe to you if you're messing with one of God's. Woe to you. We have to get strong together. I love you. I see you. You are so special. You are so special. If you were not so special, none of this would be happening. They wouldn't be bothering you at all. If you were no threat to the spiritual realm, there wouldn't even be a fight. None of this would happen to you. But you are a threat. You are a giant threat to the kingdom of darkness. And they want to keep you as small as they can. And they want you to believe what's being said about you. Demons are speaking through these people. Make no mistake. And they will involve other people. They'll involve. And they'll play victim. They will make other people outside the group think they are the victim, when in reality, they are the abuser. They are the ones that are causing it. And you know who does know it? The Almighty Lord. And it says that there will come a time when every hidden thing will be revealed. Every hidden thing that they think that they've done behind closed doors is going to be revealed. You cannot hide from the Most High. You can't.